Good morning, brethren. Happy to meet you today. So, I want to quickly talk about choosing a life partner, marriage. I've heard some preachers do talk that and also some believers think that, say that God cannot choose for anyone, you can decide. But some as well say that you have to wait for God to choose for someone for you before you decide to marry, before you can get entangled with a particular woman. You wait for God to choose for you. These anyone that stands, these two things are true. Yeah, these two things are true, depending on where you're standing. If you stand on one particular side, you can't. It's not balanced. If you stand on the side of God have to choose for every man, it's not balanced. It's not possible. God is too busy to choose for every man a wife to marry or husband to marry. If you stand on the side that you don't have to ask God for anything before you do it, then you are wrong as well. It is not balanced. Yes, you can choose a life partner by discerning, by knowing your life goal, knowing your target in life, knowing what you want in life, and how far you want to go, and looking for somebody that models or that looks like what you can carry to the end, to your destiny. Yes, you can choose. Every average believer can choose a wife to marry. That's why some people go into dating. You can even luckily meet somebody that you didn't date and still get married and you're in peace. God can even choose a wife for you and you still get into trouble with that same person you choose. All of them require understanding. Whether you choose or God choose for you, it requires understanding, study, and humility in learning each other. That is what marriage requires. Now, God will choose for you. God choosing for you somebody to marry, it depends on your relationship with God, the level of intimacy with God. You can't just be an average believer and be waiting for God to choose for you to marry. It may not work. You may wait and God will not talk. You get old. But there's a level of intimacy we reach with God that God cannot do but help decide for you. Especially if God has targeted you, want to use you for a special assignment. Another thing, even if God wants to use you for a special assignment, He needs your permission for Him to choose for you as well. Unless in this situation, you are the one to wait for God, ask God to choose for me a wife to marry. Or you have faith that God will choose for you. From your faith, belief is another thing. God has given us free choice. But because of when we enter into relation, when you begin to interact with God deeply, your choice will become narrowed. That you come under an alignment of the Holy Spirit. You become aware that those free choices are really dangerous. Are dangerous. I was preaching to someone the other time. I was talking to him about free choices. God gave us free choice, but those free choices are dangerous when we make wrong choices. So we can as well decide that God will choose for us. But if God has targeted you, want to use you for a special purpose, like want to use you for His ministerial work, or a deeper level of assignment, and you give Him that permission to do that, God can actually do that. Yes. If God can interact with Abraham with Moses face to face, He can as well tell Moses. If God can tell you law, keep this law, He can as well tell you in matters of destiny. Wife or husband, choosing a life partner is just a matter of destiny. Depending on your intimacy with God, you can hear God. You can see the form of the Lord. He said to the Israelites, He said, Moses see the form of the Lord. There are many prophets, but Moses sees the form of the Lord. It's Moses that can talk mouth to mouth to Him. So Moses can discuss issues with God mouth to mouth. If you want marriage, if you want anything, you can discuss it with God. Depends on what you have just seen that is recorded. But not everything may be recorded. Understand? But Moses can still decide that he don't want to discuss about this with God and choose whoever he wants to marry. Understand? And whatever comes out of it, you manage it. Everything is understanding. You can marry anybody, but it depends on understanding, management, and understanding. So this is the part one of choosing a wife and marriage. Yes, I'm going to dabble into marriage full time, but I'm going to just introduce it this way so that you think about it. Yes, 2 points you have to know is that the point you have to know that yes, you can choose a wife out of your free choice God has given you. Yes, and still God can choose for you if there is a high level of intimacy or high assignments given to you by God, and you have given God that permission to do that. Yes, it's possible. Thank you very much.